of the virtuous Sangha, out of compassion for the sake of this assembly and all living beings, please turn the wonderful Dharma wheel to teach and guide us how to end birth and death, leave suffering and attain bliss, and quickly realize non-birth. Cung thính đại đức tăng trình, vì thứ pháp hội cấp nhất thiết chúng sanh. Thiện chuyên nhau pháp luân giao đạo ngã mộng, như há liễu sanh thoát tư ly khổ đắc lạc, tất chứng vô sanh. Homage to the Blessed, Noble, and Perfectly Enlightened One. Nam mô Saranto Suche Doye Ela Herdi San Miao San Putosye. Nam mô Tát Đa Tha Tu Ya Da Ya Ala Ha De Tam Miao Tam Bồ Đà Toa. The unsurpassed, profound, subtle, and wonderful Dharma in 100,000 million aeons is difficult to encounter. Now that I'm able to see and hear, I will receive it and maintain it. I vow to fathom the thus come one's true and actual principles. Wu shang sheng sheng wei miao fa bai jie wan jie nan zhao yu wo jin jie wen de shou chi yuan jie ru lai zhe shi yi. O Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, Venerable Huineng, Venerable YongHua, Venerable Lamphong people, and all good known advisors, Emitofuo. Chư Phật Bồ Tát kính thưa Lục Tổ, Hòa Thượng Thiên Hoa, quý thầy cô và quý vị thiện tri thức A Di Đà Phật. Chư Phật Bồ Tát, Liêu Chủ Sư Phụ Sang Rận, Cơ Wei Chu Cha Rận, Cơ Wei Sang Chư Sư Emitofuo. Okay, hello everyone. Today is the 7th of March 2021. We are gathered to continue this investigating a 6th Patriarch Sutra. Thank you all for coming and joining us. We are discussing chapter 9, Proclamations, slide number 60. All right. Let's see. Sutra text. If you wish to know the essentials of the mind, simply do not think of and assess good or evil.
汝若欲知心要，但一切善恶都莫思量。
Commentary. The 6th Patriarch told the inquirer, his disciple, his student, that when we practice chant, the purpose is to get to know our minds. When you meditate, it's an exercise that enables you to understand your mind, how it works, what it is, what it really is. That mind is not the mind that you think of. It's not the mind that the ordinary people, the scholars or the scientists think of. It's not that mind. That mind in Buddhism is called the false mind. It's a mind that will lead you astray. If you rely on that mind, will take you to places that are not good for you. It's been proven historically, okay, to be true. As long as mankind relied on this mind there of theirs, they are not happy, and eventually they get in trouble. Okay, so the Buddha knows better. So he says, if you want to really know who you are, okay, don't look anywhere else. Look inside of you. Look at your mind. And you look long enough, you'll be able to recognize that mind of yours that you're so reliant upon to build your world, to have a family, to raise your children. Okay, that mind is the false mind, and therefore, if you're interested in knowing the exact nature of the mind, as it says on the commentary slide number 61, the essentials of your mind. Okay, what it's about. Okay, simply do not think and assess good or evil. Okay, the key word here is do not. 思量, okay? Do not think about or evaluate. This is contrary to popular beliefs. Okay, when I was at IBM, okay, we were very proud of the fact, we all have the sign. Many of us, the good producers, okay, have a sign in our desk that says, "Think." Okay, you're supposed to think. To be a superior employee, you're supposed to think. That's the 思 in Chinese character refers to think. Use intellect. Use your thinking mind is to think. Yes? This is what it's referring to. 量. Chinese character 量 is to evaluate, to measure. Okay? So it can be translated as success, evaluate. So what are you not supposed to evaluate, to measure, to assess? Good or evil? All the good or evil. Actually, the Chinese is very precise. All the good or evil. They didn't say any good or evil, the great master. He didn't say so. He says all the good or evil. Okay? What's the difference between all versus any? Please, you English experts, help us understand what's the difference between any or all. Yes, Green.
In my opinion, good and evil are, it's referring to the two polar opposites that is contained within everything.
All right.
The yin and yang.
I apologize. My question was not clear. I'm asking you about the choice of words. why this is great sage, this genius person, choose the word all and not any. Yes, Green.
Because I mean I was getting to that. Because if you say any, then you're still discriminating between something that doesn't contain good or evil, when in fact everything contains good and evil.
Jewel Mountain has an answer.
Jewel Mountain says, all has the meaning of embracing everything.
But any too, no? You know, it's funny that the Korean tried to explain English. Okay, yes, the Vietnamese want to jump into the game. Huh? Hey, you Vietnamese person. Anyone? Yes, now the Cantonese want to contribute.
Yeah, Cantonese English, okay.
Cantonese English.
I think like any is more like for right now. Doesn't go beyond or from. All is like beyond time, beyond places, beyond culture.
There's some depth in there from the Cantonese English. Yes. And how come Hong Kong is losing to the Chinese?
As the president of China.
Okay. It's the wise master says all, meaning that don't even think. All meaning that there's no need to distinguish, right? Any has distinction. Yes? Any, meaning that there is a certain distinction when you say any. Whereas all is that all-embracing, all-inclusive, don't even bother thinking. That's much stronger than any, don't you think? Agree or disagree? To me, as a student, when my teacher says, do it all, now what does it mean? Just do it. Whereas do any, then you say, oh, let me take that as one, and I'll take this, I'll take that. Okay, there's still discrimination, there's still selection. Whereas always that, don't bother thinking, don't bother discriminating. It's so much more powerful, and that's the nature of the instruction. Don't discriminate about good and evil. Any problems with that? Because we are creatures of logic, right? We want to differentiate between good and evil, don't we? It's like a part of our nature to say, no, that's not good, that's bad, okay? That's important to us. Otherwise, we're not different from a husky. You don't know what a husky is, Japanese people? Okay, it's a dog. It's an animal, a beast. Okay? And that's what differentiates us, the humans, from the low level of beings, is that we're able to differentiate. Yes? In particular, the better ones, the adult ones, the ones who are educated, the ones who are mature, are supposed to be able to discriminate between good and evil. And what does this wise monk say? He says, don't bother discriminating good and evil. It goes counter culture to all the cultures in the world. Agree? That's the instruction. This is why it's not for everyone. It's very difficult. especially people who are successful, who are well educated, and they're geniuses and very smart people in the world. They said, what you're speaking of is nonsense. Why? Because these people, the proof is right there. They are discriminating. They are depending on their thinking mind. Do not think. That's the first instruction. Don't think. Number 2, don't evaluate, don't assess. That's exactly what our education system is supposed to do for us. Educated people are supposed to learn how to think and how to evaluate. So, you agree with this instruction or not? You don't have to agree. Yes, Green.
Yes, Master. I completely agree with what the sixth patriarch is saying.
That's because you are not a scientist.
But last week you were talking about contemplation. And so I started to do more contemplation of my problems. Because before I was kind of just saying, I don't want to think about them. And I would do my best to not think about them. But then I started, contemplating them. And I started to find good solutions. And I felt like I was making progress. But how do I know when to do that or follow the sixth patriarch's instructions?
You cannot answer a question by asking another question. Yes, San Diego.
That difficulty just vocalizes something I come across a lot in my work. The way I see it is that I use my thinking mind quite a bit to solve problems, but every once in a while there's a problem that my thinking mind can't solve. There's nothing I can't think my way around it, and then at those times I have to meditate and try to I have to come up with some idea that's beyond what I currently understand.
Mm-hmm. Okay, think out of the box, they like to say, right? That's what the worldly people put it as, think outside of the box. They're very proud of it. I'm hiring you because I expect you to be able to think outside of the box. Bring something new to the party. Make new contributions. Make new discoveries. Okay? And you cannot do that unless you stop thinking the same way as you did before. And notice that San Diego says, I meditate. When you meditate, what happens? You stop thinking. You learn to stop thinking certain thoughts, certain types of thoughts. Okay? Until you become enlightened, then you're able to stop thinking altogether. So, know your limitations, please. Ladies and gentlemen, you practice meditation so that you can stop thinking, okay? Gradually. So it's a gradual evolution, whereas you meditate, you reach a certain level of skills in meditation, you can stop thinking certain types of thoughts. Until you move to the next level, then you think you can even stop more types of thoughts. I don't ever explain to you like that before. Why didn't we? Because I don't know. Okay, maybe we didn't think of it until now. So do not think, okay? And another thing too is, so we have, the patriarch says, you have to learn to resist this temptation to think. Okay? And we go into more into later. But I want you to understand the big picture first. What the nature of his instruction, and how difficult, how counterintuitive it is for ordinary people. Okay? Stop thinking, number one. Do not think. And stop assessing, stop evaluating, which is also another part of our thinking mind. You think in order to evaluate. Is it good or bad? Is it advantageous or not? Is it beneficial? Will I make money? Will I gain from this? Will I lose if I take this route? If you don't evaluate, how are you going to be able to take a decision? See, that's the instruction, right? I don't know about you. I'm from business side. I'm no engineer, okay? I don't understand engineers, okay? I don't understand architects, okay? I don't understand people in general. But from business perspective, we make a decision based on profits, right? So we need to evaluate. And now he's telling us, don't evaluate. Yes, green jacket.
I think at a basic level, we are conditioned to believe our mind serves us to evaluate good and evil as a way to survive. It's part of our survival mechanism.
Yes, there's something true about that. Something about it rings true. Uh-huh.
So even before we learned what schools to go to and what to major in and how much money to make and where we're going to live, there's a biological imperative for us to weigh what's safe for us. So we have self-preservation.
Uh-huh. Should you become a monk or not? You know? Don't forget that. Okay? So, how is this relevant to you? Let's say you say, I want to live a normal life. I'm an ordinary person. Does this instruction apply to me, or only crazy people like you who have to shave your heads and dress funny and talk funny and are poor for life with no hope of ever being able to change it unless you compromise your value system? So renounce your poverty. So how is it relevant to you? You agree with this instruction or not? Yes, great.
I think that overthinking is a sickness in people. So I think it could apply to everybody. Even if they don't do it 100%, it would be good for people to stop thinking.
I think you're too judgmental to say that thinking is a sickness. How can people buy into it? You're young and you have plenty of time. But for the rest of us who live a good life, yes, and happy life, it's based on thinking and assessing. How can you tell me, us, that? We chose wrong. Yes, Violet.
Most people, and especially depressed people, are aware of how your thoughts get you in trouble, that your mind is not really your friend. So they know that if they can disconnect from those thoughts, they're free and they're at peace. So I think there is an understanding that your mind isn't always, serving you.
Okay, sounds reasonable. How about Q&A? Rocks Q&A.
Emitofuo, Master, could it be only no thinking of the negative thought? Because thought would generate energy, and if you think about the negative will be wave out to the universe?
All right. That's possible. Anyone else? Yes. No bandana.
With what the woman just said, I wouldn't agree with that because he says good and evil, and she's saying just don't think about evil, only think about the good.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay. Purple.
Well, to assess good or evil seems like a judgment about things, which isn't a way to solve a problem. So I would think if you can intuit correct conduct and action at every time intuitively, there's no need to think about it.
Yes, Black.
I think just for me, I would look at the previous one is saying, if you want to know your mind, this is how you're going to do it. If you are really want to do it because to know your mind, the nature, if you do thinking, assessing, thinking too much, you won't be able to know the mind. So I think it's okay to think and assess, but when you're doing that, you are not knowing your mind at that moment. So it depends on the conditions. Going to work, like from 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, it's impossible to know the mind during that time. Maybe after work, yeah. Just my 2 cents.
Okay. Orange.
Mô Phật và Thầy. Bây giờ giống mình lấy một cái thùng nước đi, nó động, thì cái tâm mình cũng như cái thùng nước nó đang động. Mình để cho nó lắng lặng rồi nó không động thì mình nhìn vô thì mình thấy cái mặt của mình rồi. Đó. Là bây giờ cái tâm mình cũng như vậy nữa. Giống mình lấy cái thùng nước, mình đâu có thấy cái mặt mình đâu, cái thùng nước nó đang động mình đâu có thấy. Để cho nó im lặng rồi đó mình nhìn vô mới thấy cái mặt mình, mới thấy được cái tâm của mình. Mô Phật.
Master, I think the analogy is similar to a bucket of water. If it's shaking a lot, you don't see it, but if you let it calm down a little bit, then it can reflect things. So our mind is similar to it. If the water is shaking, you don't see it, but if once the water is calmed down, then you are able to see your mind.
Okay, very good. Okay, excellent. You all give very good answers. Love you all. You all right. You all from each angle is right, but I couldn't trick you. It's true. The sixth patriarch simply is saying this very important point. Okay, if you want to know your true mind, essential of the mind is your true mind, not the false mind, remember? We've been talking about the false mind, meaning a thinking mind. Your mind right now, your thinking mind is called, in Buddhism, a false mind. Don't depend on that. Okay? You don't want to depend on your false mind for your entire life. If your entire life is spent on depending on your false mind, you will get in trouble. Okay? Instead, if you believe that, there's something called a true mind. And that's what he means by the essentials of the mind, the true mind. If you want to have a glimpse of this true mind, he's not saying that if you want to understand your true mind completely, he just said, if you want to know the essential, meaning, the generality of this true mind, not in its entirety, it's just what it's like, what it's about, what it's essentially about, this true mind of yours that you all have, that we all have. You want to do that. It's very simple. All you have to do is stop thinking and evaluating. That's all. It's very, very powerful statement, which assumes that you want to know, you want to be able to recognize, you want to have a glimpse of your true mind. And in order for you to get a glimpse of your true mind, it's instantaneous. Remember, this great patriarch's instructions are always sudden teaching. Let me put it plainly for you. May I? Would you like to hear it? That true mind of yours, the sixth patriarch is saying, that true mind of yours right now, in your head right now, there's one false mind and one true mind. So far, so good? Peace, brother. Okay? All right. Do you have a one false mind and you have one true mind? You know by your false mind. So far, so good? That's the one you're using, that you depend on daily to go to work, right? On the other hand, there's also something called a true mind. He says that true mind right there, okay? If you want to know what that true mind is, it will manifest when you stop thinking and when you stop evaluating. That's all he says. It's very powerful statement. It's very beautiful statement. Does he say that you have to pay so much to get a course, to sign up for a course? And right now it's 50% off because of the pandemic? No, he didn't say that, did he? And that's what spoils it all for me, because I cannot charge you. Because he says he gives it to you for free right now. He says, basically, stop thinking, stop evaluating. And that's your true mind. It will manifest itself. You wish to know, meaning that this knowing here is, first of all, and let me give you the details he's not giving you, that true mind of yours. The good news, ladies and gentlemen, in order for you to watch it, doesn't cost you $10 for a ticket. Right now, Edward Cinema, I believe, is still open. Is opening again. Not Edward Cinema. It's the cinemas. Okay. We not give away free advertising. The cinemas are opening again at 25% capacity, where you can go there and buy some popcorn as well. Okay? And soft drinks. Okay. That's great news. So it doesn't cost you anything to watch a good movie, a good deal. Okay? And all you have to do to watch your mind, your true mind, is to stop thinking and stop evaluating. You will see it. It is such a beautiful, beautiful instruction. I read this sutra a few times, long time ago, and recently as well. And you can see this simple statement here would go unnoticed by most people. How profound this teaching is. This wisdom is so profound that it sounds so simple, so counterintuitive even. All you have to do, okay, stop thinking, stop evaluating. Let your true mind come to the fore. That's all you have to do. It will happen naturally, instantaneously, suddenly, if you will. Some people are saying, wait. You telling me that my true minds come out right away? How come I stop and I don't see anything? Why do I have to ask myself questions? You agree? That's not very smart. Let me think about this. It's there. Even though you don't recognize it, your true mind is there. And when with more skills, with more experiences, with more exercises, more practices, you will start to recognize your true mind. It's there. It's always there. And that's why when we teach you meditation, we go through all these drills to help you stop your thoughts, stop thinking, so that your true mind manifests itself. So far, so good? Okay? How to apply to your daily life? Why that you as an ordinary person want to see your true mind and get to recognize your true mind? Because we said it earlier, didn't we? Because some of you, one day, someday, will have a need to use your true mind. Yes? When? We talked about it earlier, when we first started. When you need to think outside of the box. Yes? If you walk down the same path, then that's your thinking mind. If you want to look at different dimensions, different approaches, you have to stop that thinking mind. It's that simple, so intuitive, isn't it? Right there. And so you go to work and your boss tells you, I need you to come up with something new. I need you to come up with something that outside of the box. Okay? Right there for you ordinary people should be a call into action to say, stop thinking, cross your legs, meditate. That's the start of thinking outside of the box. You see how useful it is. If not, you don't think outside the box, you're just like sheeps. They're ordinary people. Okay? Yes.
The episode of the sixth patriarch, when he was still a layman, laity, working in a temple for cooking, and he was like putting a piece of rock to fastering to prepare rice or making rice. Would that be more as what kind of mind? Because he must be like have make some decisions. This is very unusual way to like put a piece of rock behind you, and you can speed up the process of preparing and cooking rice. So at that moment, for that decision of him, is it more as his using his true mind or false mind? Because it seems looks like he may make some kind of a judgment or assessing. Oh, there's a better way to do it. It's good for the community. It's good for the people. So that's why I have to put a piece of rock behind me, and I can boom, I can make like 2,000 people of rice.
Okay, that's a Cantonese perspective. How about you, other ethnicities perspective? He's referring to the fact when the sixth patriarch went to the fifth patriarch temple, and the fifth patriarch says, "You have a big mouth. I tell you what, go to the backyard and start thrashing the rice, okay, separating the husk from the rice." So they had to pound, they had to do some kind of pounding. So he decided to wear a rock, okay, attach a rock to his body so that he's heavier, so that he can pound it better, okay. So why is the question? Why would you do that? Why did he do that? Anyone has an opinion? Yes, Orange. The Chicha always have an opinion.
Mô Phật và Thầy, mình cũng nhờ cái chân tâm với nhờ cái vọng tâm, hai cái mình cũng phải cần. Bây giờ mình muốn đi chỗ đó làm việc mà mình không có nhờ cái giả tâm này đó thì mình đâu có làm được cái việc gì đâu. Rồi cái chân tâm của mình đó thì nó rất là thanh tịnh, nó muốn ngủ thì nó ngủ. Tới giờ thì nó ngủ thì nó đâu có cần xin nghĩ cái gì nữa đâu. Rồi cái vọng tâm mình đó, mình muốn đi giống bây giờ bữa nay muốn nấu cơm hay mình xin nghĩ muốn nấu cái gì thì mình hai cái mình cũng phải cần hết Thầy. Mô Phật.
Ever since she reached her eighth samadhi, this woman very often expresses her opinion. Now, instead of now she refuses to go to the kitchen and cook for us. She says, "I'm above cooking." Before she would come to my master's temples and say, "All I can do for you is cook, okay? Okay, give me a chance to cook, and leave me alone while I cook." But now he says, "I'm above cooking. I want to speak Dharma." Okay.
Master, I think that we need both the false mind and the true mind. We need it both. Like, for example, if you go to work, you need to depend on the false mind. Otherwise, you cannot do anything. And then the true mind is very pure. If you want to sleep, then you just sleep. But you need the thinking minds. Like, for example, if you need to cook, then you have to think what you should cook.
Excellent. Okay, let me cut through the chase for you. Of course, if you have a false mind, the mind that you've been using, you're not going to throw away, are you? You're good at doing that, aren't you? With that false mind, you make money. You get promotions, you get married, you have children, all those things. All those are good. Why is it so quiet? You're not going to throw all of that away, right? Okay? And all we're doing is that there's something even better. You want to take a step further, it's called a true mind. And that's why you can, as this lady said, it's another tool at your disposal that you can use at appropriate times. That's all we say. Don't ignore it, okay? Because you'll be called upon that true mind occasionally when necessary, okay? The ordinary people don't know how to use this true mind. Mahayana, especially Chan, trains you how to utilize this true mind when you need it. That's what we say. So far, so good. We're not rejecting anything. We're not rejecting, no, you stop the false mind, throw it away. No, we just say, there's another thing called the true mind. Be aware and learn to use it. That's all. Okay? There are times we want to use the true mind, and there are times when you want to use the false mind. Precisely. Right? Now, the question earlier, yes? Purple has a comment.
I have a question. I'm curious. From what we've heard, when one becomes enlightened, the false mind stops, and there's no more thinking. And yet, people who have accomplished this are still functioning in the physical world. They still act. I wouldn't call it. I don't know if making decisions is the right word, but they're functioning. Can they do this without the false mind?
Good question. Oh boy, I haven't thought of that. You guys are really pushing me around. What do you think? Excellent. God, I don't know how to answer this. What happened to my iPhone? Jose, thank you. You were listening. And yes, anyone, help me out, please. You really are pushing the envelope. Yes. Green. Pink. Give pink a chance.
Thank you, Master. My answer is yes. You can operate in the physical world without thinking. Many times at work in the past, I've been able to answer questions in a sense without having to think. Kind of like knowing the information, knowing the path forward, but not needing to rely on an intellectual process to provide that guidance.
Very good. We come to that. Can I ask you a question, sir?
Yes, of course.
Can you love your wife without thinking?
Every day, Master.
The wife disagrees. She prefers that you think. Yes, her wifey? He says, keep thinking, my man. Okay, very good. Yes, Green.
According to theory, everything's contained within the true mind. So that means the false mind comes from the true mind. In my opinion, the false mind gets more effective and more attached, more in line with the true mind, the more you discover and are aware of your own true mind and understand how it works.
Very good. May I ask you, Green, this false mind of yours, can we label it as Catholic mind? Just for the heck of it. I don't know why I just thought of Catholic mind. What do you think? Huh?
I prefer the Master YongHua mind.
Master YongHua mind. Oh, please leave me out of this. My mind is very special. Okay, we stop horsing around, okay? God, you guys will get me in trouble. Okay, let me close this loop here, this loophole here, this exposure here, okay, which is unhealthy for any Dharma speaker. Okay, boys and girls, pay attention. You don't want to expose yourself and like this, okay. And no more questions, please. Okay. This is so far I can BS. So much I can BS with you. Okay. This is the limits of my salesmanship skills. Okay. Here's what happens. To simplify it all, because I don't think you want me to continue for another half hour on this topic. Okay. It's just too much. Okay. Let me simplify it for you and give you a simple answer that will answer most of your questions. Look at it slightly differently. You have two minds, true mind, false mind. We all agree on that. We all learn of that today. Okay? False mind and true mind, the two of them. Okay? And we talk about false, how to use, when to use false mind, you use true mind, so forth. Let me present it this way for you. What if one person uses her true mind and talk to the husband who only uses his false mind, what happens? Don't you wonder? Oh no, Catholic mind has some ideas. Yes, Kath.
I think the husband would just not listen to the other person because he's just in his own little mind, so he's just not going to pay attention unless he's using his true mind. That's what I'm thinking. It could be wrong.
So is you saying that, because I don't have my translation, my translator here, what happened to her? Catholic translation. You saying that it's not going to work, basically?
Correct.
Correct. So only the Catholic mind can talk to Catholic mind. Okay, I'm trying, I'm not attacking you, I'm not criticizing you. I'm just saying I'm trying to understand here. Okay? Okay.
No.
Okay, how about, no?
What I'm saying is mostly like, for example, actually it could be a question too. Like, for example, if the person is in Somali, right? And the other person is not in Somali, and the person that is not in Somali tries to talk about, I don't know, how to pay the taxes to the person in Somali, the person in Somali will not be able to respond because he will not be thinking at all. That's my understanding.
Okay, I'll be nice to you today. Anyone else? Is it going to work? You have a true mind talking to a false mind talking to a true mind. How is it going to work? This world's going to be in chaos. It's like different dimensions, you know? Green jacket.
Well, I would think that wife with the true mind would be free enough to benefit the husband who still has the false mind because she's not afflicted anymore.
So sexist. God, did you hear that? She says, if the wife uses true mind, it's very good for the husband whose mind is false. Anyone else? Yes.
It's two different languages. The false mind and the true mind.
And go on.
And so if someone's speaking English and someone's speaking Catholic, they don't understand each other. No, I'm just...
You know, Kath, I went up to North, and they know about you too. That's too much. You're more famous you're the most famous non-disciple I've ever had. Okay, here's what happens, okay? The false mind has expectations. Is it clear? We expect certain things. We say, when you talk to me, you have to be nice. Yes? You have to be civil. There's a certain decorum when you talk to me. It's called civility. It's called politeness. Right? I'm older than you. You cannot talk to me like that. That's the false mind. We have expectations because we evaluate, because we think. Okay? However, the true mind has no expectations at all. So when you have the two things talking to each other, it's not going to connect. It has a problem. My point being that the true mind, if you have a true mind, okay, all your answers are correct, by the way. I'm only restating the obvious to you, okay, to help it solidify your thinking so it's clear. There is no possible misinterpretations later, okay? So the true mind from a lady, when she needs to relate to the husband who's full of false thinking, She will use her false thinking mind to relate to them. That's the purpose of these two. You see? The true mind is very useful because it's wiser. And the nature of wisdom is that it knows how to solve the problems. So that's why the true mind needs a false mind to relate to ordinary people. Is that clear? That's why don't reject the false mind. Your false mind is a very good thing. Do not believe the Buddhist who says, your false mind, abandon that. It's very bad for you. No, it's very useful, in particular when you need to relate to others. Okay? Yes, great.
So the whole world is a false thought. So does that mean we would need a false mind to be able to relate to not just people with false minds, but to the world itself and
to the world, yeah.
physicality?
To explain ourselves. Explain ourselves, you need to think like they do. Because it has to make sense to them. Okay? Anything else? Does this put this to rest? So the point here, in summary, the point here is that, okay, do not sell yourself short. All you have to do is learn to meditate, and you will see your true mind clearer and clearer and clearer. All you have to do is stop thinking, stop evaluating. Right then, it's your true mind. Right then, that very moment when you stop thinking, you stop evaluating, that's your true mind that you have. And as you get better and better, you learn how to use that true mind. That's all. The sages, they use the true mind most of the time and use the false mind not as often as we do. We're just the opposite. Okay? That's all. Okay? Don't let the Chinese make this so mythical, so mystical that there's something called true mind, false mind, and we abandon the false and get to the true. Baloney. Okay? Embrace it all. Don't discriminate. Don't say, I want to abandon my false mind. Are you crazy? You want to die or something? As long as you're alive, your false mind is working. It's a good thing. So far, so good? I want you to know it's kind of fun because I read these things, these Chinese teachings, and the true mind is wonderful and so forth. And I felt like abandoning my false mind. I wish I could abandon my false mind. I want to be true the rest of my life. Okay, next. Sutra text. You will then enter naturally. Oh, I spoke before the Master did. Oh, mea culpa, forgive me. You will then enter naturally to the clear, pure substance of the mind, which is deep and permanently still, and whose wonderful abilities are as numerous as the sand grains in the Ganges River.
自然得入清净性体，沾染常寂，妙用恒沙。
Okay, 63, commentary. This is why you want to get to the pure mind, the true mind, that you have. Even Daniel has it. That's what I'm trying to say. Be very compassionate. Okay? Equal opportunity. You will not find, people believe in equal opportunity more than we do. You will then enter naturally. You see? Naturally. I spoke a little bit too soon. I apologize. I should prepare my lecture a little bit better because I stole my own thunder. Okay? Naturally, this is a natural process, absolutely effortless. Naturally. Natural is no effort. Okay? The clear, this clarity, as in contrast to your muddle. Like that lady said earlier, the pond, it has full of waves, therefore the water is not clear. Okay? You naturally enter this clear and pure. Pure here, okay? The substance of the mind. The mind is substance, is pure and clear. 静静 in Chinese. It's pure and clear. Your true mind, as you eventually be able to become more familiar with it, you see just for yourself. Don't take my words for it. You see for yourself, your true mind is pure and clear. That's how you recognize it. All right? Which is deep and permanently still. Very deep. Deep here refers to limitless. Deep here in Buddhism has very special meaning. It's deep because you cannot see. When you get to the bottom of what you think it is, it's still deeper, and still deeper, and still deeper. That's the meaning of depth or deep in Buddhism. You think that you can get to the bottom of it, but you can't. It gets deeper and deeper and deeper. That's why it's called wonderful. You think you've seen it all, but no, there's more. And there's more. So, Daniel, the Buddhist love is so deep, deeper than yours, because yours is still has limits, yes? Okay, I rest my case. You see, it is deep. This mind of ours is so deep, okay? And permanently still. It's unmoving. It doesn't move at all. This true mind of ours does not move. So far, so good? And whose wonderful abilities are as numerous as the grains of sand in the Ganges rivers. Because it's so deep that you discover more and more abilities. That's beyond your thinking mind can imagine. That's why they call wonderful. Whatever you can think of is way beyond that. That's why it's called wonderful. Okay? As numerous as the sand and the grains of sand, the sand grains in the Ganges rivers, meaning it's countless. Yes, Pink.
False mind and true mind. Using a baseball analogy, False mind, you're up at bat, you contemplate on the pitch coming at you, you're thinking, well, it's going to drop down here, I'm about ready to swing now, no, I should wait, and so forth. True mind, you're playing second base, you're just minding your time there, and bam, a straight line drive comes right at you, above your head. You don't even think about it. You jump up in the air and snatch it. You haven't thought at all.
Yeah.
But is that, would you consider that true
Yes.
mind?
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. The true mind knows things that the false mind does not. And that's why it's so wonderful. You use your false mind to analyze, to think, to evaluate. But your true mind knows without thinking, without evaluating. That's the difference. Okay? It's kind of cool. All right. Yes. Pink. Raise your hand so that they can see it.
Master, the Patriarch talked about recognizing the mind. Is it that the false mind that recognizes the true mind, or who would be the one who recognizes that true mind, since this is like empty or something?
He didn't say whether true mind or the false mind recognize it. He said, you will recognize it. And I let you find out for yourself. Okay? Anyone else? All right, let's move on. Next. 64, Sutra text. Xue Jian received this instruction and was suddenly greatly enlightened. He bowed, took leave, and returned to the palace to report the master's speech.
简门指教，豁然大悟，理辞规缺，表奏诗语。
65, commentary. Xue Jian is the eunuch, the one with missing things. And he received this instruction. Okay, this is the personal instruction that the sixth Patriarch bestowed upon this very erudite, scholarly person. Okay? Exactly the opposite of what he's been doing. And he was suddenly greatly enlightened. What does it mean? Meaning that he became enlightened from listening to this instruction. And why? Because he stopped thinking and evaluating. He stopped being himself. Okay? So herein is a proof that eunuch can also become enlightened. I know you have no compassion, no sympathy, empathy at all for eunuchs. But you should. Because they are handicapped. It's not fair to them. Life is not fair to them. And yet, Buddhism, the great teachers, they don't discriminate. Everyone has a chance, equal chance. Okay? Isn't it wonderful? That the master says, "You an eunuch, so eunuch. I don't want to teach you. You are a woman. Go home and cook." Okay? No, it's no discrimination. You're non-Buddhist? Poor you. That kind of thing? No. Okay, it doesn't matter. And earlier the question, I forgot the answer. He said, why did you carry this stone here? It's because it has nothing to do with true mind and false mind. It has to do with the fact that Venerable Huineng, at that point in time, he was not greatly enlightened yet, and he was very respectful of the fifth patriarch, and therefore, in order to show his respect, fifth patriarch, all he said is that you have a big mouth. Okay? Cut it out. Go into my backyard and start threshing rice. Make yourself useful instead of thinking. That's the instruction. So what did he do? He went back there and says, why am I here? I'm here in order to thresh for rice. Okay? So what is the best way I know how to do it? He says, maybe adding more weight will help me do it better. Okay? So he did. Okay? So this is whatever true mind or thinking mind, I cannot answer for you, to be honest. Okay? I don't know which mind it is that made him decide to do that. I don't know. Okay? And you caught me there. However, all that matters is that he what? He what? Come on, this is very important. It's not about true mind or false mind. What happened? He what? Yes, Blackie.
Takes the instruction seriously. This is
Took
for
the
sure.
instruction seriously.
For sure.
Okay? Anyone else? He? Anyone knows? The Chinese will never tell you this. They said, no, it's our Chinese secret. How about you Koreans? Sunims, do you know? Koreans, do you know? What happened? You in Korea and Koreans all over. Do you know? Did your master teach you? No? Okay. Anyone else? He passed the test. What test? Do you follow your good knowing advices, instruction, or you keep on asking why? Why? I disagree. No. I disagree. It doesn't make sense to me. I didn't walk all the way, thousands of miles by foot here to thresh rice for you, okay? What kind of nonsense is this? You tell me to go thresh rice for you? You notice, at that time, Venerable Huineng, the sixth patriarch, before he became the sixth patriarch, what did he do? He abandoned his mother to go there to seek enlightenment, to seek instructions. And what did he get? Go thresh rice. Lucky, good thing that he was not educated and was not very successful. If you tell that to a engineer, a shrink, and so forth, your reaction would be, talk to me? Really? Are you talking to me? Are you serious? Okay. Yeah. So the sixth patriarch, the only instruction that he was given when he got there, after all the long travel and the hardships and missing his mother, he's very close to, as you can imagine. They only have each other. They can only lean on each other. Okay? That's the only reason to live for him. I am taking care of my mother. Because no one else will. You don't realize how strong the bond was with him, as you can imagine. That's it. He wasn't married, didn't have a girlfriend. Okay? Just work all day to support his mother. And then when he was told that you need to go seek the Dharma from so far away, he says, yeah, okay, yeah, that's right. That's when his true mind knew that it was the right thing to do. And then he says, okay, I have enough money. There's enough money to take care of my mother the rest of her life. Okay, I'm going to leave all of this to my mother, and go seek the Dharma from this wise teacher. Right there. How many of us are able to do that? Right? So he set off on his journey, long and arduous journey. He went there. I can assure you, his legs were aching. He has blisters in his feet. Okay? Probably bled on the journey by foot. And he went there, and what did the good no advisor say? Go thresh rice. It's a rather harsh test, don't you think? You weren't there. That's why you guys are so sheltered. You say, oh, I don't know why. What is the big deal? Okay. So he went and trashed rice, and so he says, this is still not my best. Is there anything else I can do? I will strap more weight on my back, okay, so that I can thresh rice faster. So not only did he take the test, he passed it with flying colors. For 8 months, right? Do I remember right? For 8 months, he thrashed rice. Didn't talk to anyone, thrashed rice, because he's told to thresh rice. What else is he supposed to do? In contrast, may I remind you the story of Master Lingyo, our Weiyang founder, Weiyang school founder. His disciple is Fa Hai, the son of the prime minister, a scholar, accomplished intellect, recognized intellect, okay, who passed the imperial examination with high grades, destined to bring glory to his family name. He went to Master Lingyo. Master Lingyo says, you will carry water for the temple. And the test lasted 3 years. Come on. We Americans are not built for that, are we? We need instant gratification because we're entitled. We white. See how weak we are? So after 3 years, Fahai snapped. He says, enough is enough. You don't teach me. You abuse me. This is not fair. What is he doing? He thought and evaluated his position. What a loser. We're not like that, are we? We're American. Okay. Isn't it interesting? How tough it is the Chinese had it? And how comfortable we are? We can become enlightened without having to take the test. So he is certainly greatly enlightened, okay? And so he bowed, took his leave, and returned to the palace to report the master's speech. He still went back to his masters and carried and did his job. Okay? Questions or comments? Lesson here. I brought up the story of Master Huineng versus Master Fahai to show you the difference, okay? To make a point. The test might be 3 years. The test for Fahai, that son of the prime minister, is 3 years. And he snapped, right? For Master Huineng, it's 8 months of hard labor, if you will, slaving away, and no one cares for you. Whether your back aches and you need to go see a doctor and so forth, no one cares. You are nobody, and you gave up your mother for this. Your relatives are all saying, you are so unfilial, which is a death sentence in the Asian culture. In China back then, you unfilial child. Okay? Lasted 8 months, the test. And what's the difference? The difference is that Master Huineng applied himself to work. Didn't think. He worked harder and harder and harder, single-mindedly. I thresh rice for the master because he said so. Whereas Fahai was doing that, and what? We weren't there by, we can all guess that he's complaining. He's, oh my God, I gave up this, all I have for this. Really? My friends are laughing at me. Huh? He has what? Doubts. Too smart. Okay? Are you paying attention, Daniel? Don't want to be too smart. 66 Sutra text. That year, on the 3rd of the 9th month, a proclamation was issued in praise of the Master. It read.
7年9月3日，有昭讲御师曰。
So, So the empress was impressed by the glory report of Xuejian, the eunuch. Okay, and therefore Wu Zetian, the empress, gave a proclamation, which is a recognition from the empress, from high up there. 68. Here's a text. The master has declined our invitation because of old age and illness. He cultivates a way for us and is a field of blessings for the country.
师慈老疾，为正修道，国之福田。
Commentary, slide 69. This from the empress. Of course, the young emperor doesn't know better. So the empress is the brains behind the throne at the time. She says, the master has declined our invitation because of old age and illness. So this is the excuse that the empress accepted from the sixth patriarch. He says, okay, I accept your excuse. Okay? And respectfully. That's why she says the master declined. He refused me. Okay? And she says, she acknowledges, yes, I accept his declining my invitation. Okay? And for whatever reason, old age and illness is for you, lay people, you, my servants, my people, you know, whatever the excuse you need to hear. But I accept the fact that my wish didn't come through. Okay? However, I want to recognize him, this monk, for the fact that he cultivates the way for us and is a field of blessings for the country. He cultivates the way for us, not for himself. He cultivates the way because it benefits us. There's some people among us who wish that they end their lives, they go to be near their Creator. And that's their aspiration. There's some others who cultivate because they want to go to the Pure Land. What's the difference? Huh? Indiana or Kentucky?
No, not did I say it? No, kind of like, not Mahayana.
Indiana, not Mahayana. Okay, I think I understand where it's coming from. Indiana is where Hinayana is. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. It's, what's in Indiana anyway? Never mind, I'm kidding. Indiana people, you're special. Okay. He cultivates the way because of us. Okay? He does it in order to benefit us, including me, the empress, including my son, the emperor. Okay? And this is why she became an empress. And she has so much influence over the government, Chinese culture, and especially was a great benefactor of Buddhism because she has wisdom to recognize its value. in order for you to be a leader, to do great things for your company, for your country, for your family, you need to be able to recognize value. You need to have vision. This woman here has vision. She has wisdom. She says, this monk here, contrary to popular beliefs that he's there because he wants his fame or he wants his territory, he earned his place in the Buddhism world, he has his own way place, he has his own followers, we need to recognize him. She still says, it's none of that matters, this monk. He does it in order to benefit us. I ask you. She's an empress. She's not even a monk. She understands what a monk is supposed to do. I ask you, you monks and nuns, do you understand your role? Why are we doing this? Most of you applauding, you, my children, applauding to say, after Master leaves, what kind of temple can I get? I hope we get more temples. So in the future we divide among ourselves like he promised. Huh? Yes. Math man. We have a new title, Math man. Yes.
Master, it seems that Suechin become enlightened, and that's he helped with finding the way to talk to Venerable Wuchat, the king, the emperor at that time, so that she can understand, she'll be able to understand what the intention of the master and so forth. So I think part of this is also because of Venerable Shechin that become enlightened, that helped carving the way for her to say that.
Okay, translation. I need more translators. Oh. It sounds good. Okay, and so it's just basically she's being political. She says he's practicing a bodhisattva path. That's how the Chinese put it, but she puts it in her own way. He practices for us, meaning for me. It's very, very, very self-promoting, if you will. It says, but the empresses don't talk like that. Say, I know you cultivate for me. No, he says we cultivate for us. We are all together. You see that? It's very political speech. Don't take this literally, but I'm using this to remind all of you monks and nuns, all of you who aspire to practice the way, why are we doing this? Remember, is to benefit what? The President and First Lady. Yes, Pink.
Not to benefit all living beings.
Come again?
It's to benefit all living beings. That's the reason why they become monks.
Excuse me. Translation, please.
To benefit all living beings.
Benefit all living beings. Talking like a true Buddhist. He's more Buddhist than most of you. Shame on you. Okay? So that's what is important for, I hope, your generation. My master didn't teach me this, by the way. He left me too soon. He threw me out too soon. So I never learned the proper way. So all I know is that in my heart, I hope that you, next generation, whether you're a lay person or a left-home person, okay, our ideals are, we know we're doing this, okay, for the greater good of everyone, not just ourselves. That's what Mahayana is about. This is Mahayana spirit. Okay? And is a field of blessings for the country. This refers to the monks and nuns. They are field of blessings, meaning what? They need to receive offerings. They can't hide. You can't say that, I am not greedy for your offerings. I want a simple life. My master told me that I'm supposed to be poor. So I'm not taking your offerings. Don't give me anything. I'm telling you, wrong. If people come to you and say, can I give you a car? He says, no, but you can give my master a car. Yes, purple.
I'd like to know the emperor, the royal court, or I'm not sure how you refer to the emperor's organization back in China then, but was there a lot of controversy between this newly found way of thinking? I don't know if they really considered it a religion at that time, but was there a lot of controversy between, say, the sixth patriarch and learned scholars that had the ear of the emperor's court? Were they one saying the other is not telling the truth, or it doesn't matter? Was there a lot of controversy back then?
Yeah, there's always competition. There's always slander. There's always distortions. Okay, there's always misinterpretations. Okay, however. This is why the political leader, now I'm talking to you, okay? This is why leaders out there in the country need to have wisdom themselves. If our leaders only look for their own self-interest, okay? Like getting re-elected or getting enough information so that you make more money yourself, or looking forward to your making a lot of money after you finish your political career, like many politicians do. I think majority of the politicians make a lot more money after they leave office than before. To me, that's milking the cow. Okay? I think if you're a politician, I hope in the future, many of you will become politicians and become leaders of the country in your own marshes, okay? Where you do it for the sake of the country, the sake of the people, instead of benefiting yourself. That's it. You and your family. It's very, very small-minded. Okay? I don't have a problem you in the future monk or nuns and go back to lay life and become a politician, become a scientist, become a great savant scientist, a great inventor. If you want to contribute that way, I have no problems. Contribute. If that's what turns you on, if that's how you want to make a difference, it's perfectly okay. Okay? But do good. Help others. You know, unless we do that, unless we believe in that, our country will decline. Back then, these great leaders, they recognized Mahayana, as we are there, and they brought up a little bit earlier, Mahayana is a superior knowledge, superior thinking. The treasure, they look at Mahayana as a national treasure. In what form? In the monks who explain Mahayana, they considered national treasures. By the way, it's a Buddhist practice, by the way. It's a Buddhist tradition. You go to Japan, for example, nowadays, I don't know if it's the case in Korea anymore, but in Japan, there are people that are considered national treasures. They are, let's say, an artist that does gold leafing on the porcelain. They're national treasures. Or they have a special professional skill that's unique. Clearly Japanese. That's part of the Japanese culture. They're recognized as national treasure. There's wisdom in there. You can steal the computer files, but you cannot steal the mind of that person, can you? Those people are treasures of the country. Take a step higher. Okay? It's still worldly skills. There's something called superior knowledge that's contained in the Buddhist wisdom. That's why back then, in ancient times, Buddhism and Buddhist masters used to be recognized as national treasures by the emperor. You cannot leave the country. And they go to war in order to grab and steal those Buddhist monks, namely Kumarajiva. Have you heard that monk, famous Indian monk? He went from India to China to translate sutras, and then the emperor, Chinese emperor, knew about that. He invaded those countries, okay, to bring back the guy. And what did he do? He built monasteries, sir, for him. Send him thousands of monks and nuns to work for him. And what else? Build him a palace. And says, you don't have to live in a temple. You live in a palace with your servants. Hint, hint. Okay, it's true appreciation. And rumor has it, he's trying to replicate Kumarajiva with Chinese blood. Because Kumarajiva was Indian. So he was doing crossbreeding. Okay? So My point being that those details may not be true. I'm trying to exaggerate a little bit to spice things up. But my point here is that because of those great leaders, they have this vision, these visionaries. This is why the Chinese culture took off. If you, all of you, are worried that we're on the decline, that we're not competitive in the world, you have to learn from the Chinese. Invest and support superior knowledge. As a prior section says, if any of you uses your true mind, it's nothing you cannot invent. It's nothing you cannot create. Nothing. You want AI? Use your true mind. You want how to deal with COVID-19? Use your true mind. Not use. The proof is that when people, the scientists, use your thinking mind, look at what have come up so far. Huh? Can you deny that? It's failure. There's no other way to describe it. It's utter failure. People are still dying and they just don't know what the heck they do. It will still go on and on and on for decades. And maybe decades later, they figure out how to deal with the COVID-19. Just we did with cholera, we did with, I don't know. Smallpox, thank you very much. Okay? And I will tell you, young lady, they will never be able to figure out how to deal with depression and manic. Impossible. You cannot deal with it via science. It's not possible. Not with your scientific mind. It's not possible to solve that problem, that equation. Yes, sir. Purple.
This is just a curiosity of mine. Kind of looking at global politics. I'm curious. Master YongHua came to the United States to move Mahayana to the United States. And currently, it appears, I mean, I'm not the only one saying this. I mean, it's on the front cover of Foreign Affairs magazine. The United States is in decline. And it looks like China is on the rise. Does Mahayana know something that we don't know for the future?
I don't know either. You're asking the wrong guy. I apologize if I come across if I know what I'm doing, but I don't. It's the truth. No, my point here is that if you want things to improve, okay, you have to think differently. All the Chinese are doing is thinking like we do. They're not going to be able to surpass the US. Because all they do is copycat. They have the manpower, they have the labor, okay? But they don't have the smarts. Our system fosters the smarts, creates smarts, okay? But we don't have wisdom. I'm proposing that the future leaders like you, okay, and your children, who invest in wisdom, not just smarts. Okay? Because smarts is limited. Wisdom is unlimited. That's why it takes visionaries to be able to do that. If, right here, folks, this emperor says he's cultivating for us, how about you? I'm asking you, how about you? He's cultivating for us. How about you? Are you only for your family, for yourself? And you expect him to do everything? Sounds like you, huh? And you expect miracles. You expect the U.S. to improve, to stop the decline. You stop the decline, you have to think outside of the box. You have to change your way of thinking. We don't need to change the system. Let the politicians be politicians. Let the Democrats be Democrats. Remember, we're not discriminating. People have been accusing me of being anti-Republican. I'm not. Okay, you got me again, but not entirely untrue. Wow, it's getting hot in here. Yes, purple. We need a distraction. I need a break.
A couple of things, if you'll give me permission, Master. One is, I read just this week there was a national poll out that says 63% of the people polled were in favor of teaching meditation in schools, which is nice to hear if we could push for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's wonderful. Yeah. We need to expose our children, the future generation. This is why we're doing this. We're telling you, that there are the ways of thinking. And you are capable of doing that. Not us. It's about you. Your children, your grandchildren, great-grandchildren. You have to think differently. Because let's remind ourselves, this pandemic is demonstrating the limitations of scientific thinking. Gets us in trouble. We can't get out of it yet. No end in sight. No end in sight. That's the truth. No one knows anything. We hope that it works. Numbers are looking good. And what? And then?
And then, yeah.
And then?
And then?
We're opening restaurant again. That's all we know. That's it. So we have to change our thinking. And the good news, folks, is that Chinese monk, the short Chinese monk, my late teacher, this is very important, do not sell yourself short. He foresaw that this country is capable of that. Change your paradigm. That's the nature of the U.S. mind. People in this country are able to be very flexible in their mind and change the paradigms at all levels. All of you are very flexible. It's our culture. We adapt. We love to improve. And that's the important message from Mahayana. Okay? You have to do something. Don't sit there and wait for it to happen. Wait for the apple to fall on your mouth. You have to plant the seeds, like Johnny Appleseed. You have to water it. We can't do it alone. Of course. Most people don't understand what we're talking about. I'm appealing to you, wise people, superior people, people who have blessings. Do something for the country. Do something for the world that's beyond your limited scope of your family and your friends. That's all. If you like that, this country deserves to continue to decline. That's what the Chinese are doing. They only think for the Chinese. Like we do. We only think for the US. MAGA? Make America great again? USA comes first? So now China comes first? And guess what kind of course they're going? Right after us. Same direction. Same end results. Eventually. Isn't it time for us to change course? And you are the one who has to make it happen. How many are there in Korea? Oh, they're all sleeping. Oh, it's too early for me. Master is talking nonsense. He's talking about America only. It has nothing to do with Korea. Look at that. Look at those Koreans. They're all gone. The Koreans are thinking, Jumao Temple thinking, can we delay this lecture a little bit later? It's too early for us in the morning, we can't think. Okay? I'm not talking about the US, I'm talking about any of you. All of you. In your various parts of the woods of your country. You have to think differently. More progressively, more globally, more wisely. And the one thing that's going to happen if you do that, you'll be happier. That's a big picture. Yes, white person.
Thank you for the privilege, Master.
You're welcome.
An important question for me when thinking globally, how do you feel about having a temple in Mexico?
Okay, I leave it to my disciples. I'm too old and tired. I'm sick. Yes, Black.
Master, I would request Master to open temple in Maryland.
In the East
Maryland.
Coast, I know.
In East Coast, the first temple.
Can I thank you for your question. Here's my answer to keep it short because we over time already. Okay. Here's where we go. We go where we are requested. Number one. Number two, we go when we have the manpower to go. I'm not like my master where if you give me a temple, I accept it. I said, no, I don't need your temple. Thank you. Because I cannot use it. Therefore, you're wasting your temple on a stupid monk. I accept a temple in Korea because we asked to go in Korea. And I was there. I talked to the people. I met them. I said, okay, these people have potential. Therefore, I can afford to send my people over there because I have enough people to spare. Okay? So that's why, in summary, keep it short for you, keep it simple for you, because I talk too abstractly still. This is why I asked the old monk not to die yet. He's essential resource. I need more time to train people. If he dies, I need to replace him. With what? Gorilla? See, it's funny, the gorilla is right behind him. That's about what all I can replace him with. Okay? You hear, huh? Master soy sauce? Go easy on the soy sauce. Please. Okay? But we need the visionaries of this country to do their jobs and have a vision of grandeur, of great potentials for this country, for the people of this country, because my master saw that in the people in this country. He says, I have to go to the US because that's where people with great potentials are. My generation and your generation and so forth. He saw it already. Now it's your turn to say, I will invest in those great potentials. You have to think differently, folks. You have to make sacrifices. Give me your cars, your boats, your children, your husbands, your wives. It's not that bad. And you'll be happier. No? Okay. I know I'm not speaking the Dharma like the Chinese. They are very adorned and so forth. I get very emotional and very excited, and I apologize. It's very unbecoming of a monk to talk like this. But it's been a pleasure. It's so special. Okay? All right. Again, we have to change our thinking, folks. It's not just me, it's about you. Unfortunately, I didn't spend enough time with my master. He didn't teach me, he didn't train me properly. So yes, I have a lot of flaws, I'm a clown, and so forth. But we all in this together. I want to emphasize again that your potential is incredible. Don't settle for less than the big pot, and the big kazoos, okay? Whatever kazoo means. All right? There is the potential of the people who are here is tremendous. And in order for that to happen, our leaders have to think differently, have to invest in the potential instead of just doing charity work and building churches for Daniel and his likes. Come on, we have to change our thinking. You have to build churches for Mahayana. Okay? You have to sacrifice your children. He said, okay, I'll give you enough, but the rest, give it to Master YongHua. I cannot be more explicit than that. And then, moreover, and then you, just like in traditional China, you bring your smartest children, not children, God, we hate children. Your smartest son who passed the imperial examination, who got admitted into Harvard, into Yale and so forth, and say, here, master, train this person, turn him into a great asset for our world. And first, Daniel, you have to get married. Okay? You have to think differently, come on. Okay? That's how we're going to stop the decline. And it will stop, by the way. I know, because my master is Chinese, he doesn't say, I'm Chinese, I don't want to ask for money from you. I'm not Chinese, I'm Vietnamese. I am not afraid to ask for money. It never worked, hasn't worked yet. And one day I figured out how to ask for money and actually get money. But I ask you, great leaders of this great country, to think outside of the box and stop doing only like, philanthropy. Like you feed the poor, and those are important. But I need you to take a part of that, invest in the potential of the future generation. And that's in Mahayana, folks. I submit to you, we will not find a better investment than investing in Mahayana development. Okay? Thank you. 감사합니다. And I'm Democrat. Just kidding. Just kidding. Because I have not ended my discrimination yet. That you can accuse me of. Next time, 70.